So 2026, it's shaping up to be a huge year for the Australian property market. Whether you're thinking about buying, selling, or maybe even investing, you absolutely need to understand the forces at play. In the next few minutes, we're going to break down exactly what you need to know.
You know, here at Finance Hub and Networks, this is what we do day in, day out. We help people navigate the, let's be honest, pretty complex world of property. And in this explainer, we're really excited to share some of our key insights with you. So, the big question is 2026 your year to make a move? I get it, you see all these conflicting headlines, and it's tough to know what's really going on. We're going to cut through all that noise and give you the clear, essential info you need to make a really smart decision. So let's start with the big picture.
First up, why is this year, 2026, so important? Why is everyone talking about it? Well, it really all boils down to one fundamental tension in the market.
And that tension? Oh, it's the classic story, right? Supply and demand. To put it simply, there are way more people looking for homes than there are homes actually available. This imbalance is the single biggest factor creating the dynamic, and let's face it, competitive market we're seeing right now.
And if you want to put a number on it, just think about this. Australia is facing a shortfall of about 230,000 homes. New construction just can't keep pace with our growing population, and it's lagging way behind the average we've seen over the last decade. And that massive gap, well, that's the engine driving pretty much everything.
And at the same time, on the demand side of things, it's being fueled from, well, everywhere. We've got strong migration, we've got confident first-home buyers jumping back into the market, and investors are on the hunt for solid opportunities. Plus, with borrowing conditions finally stabilizing a bit, you have the perfect recipe for some pretty intense competition. So how does this all actually play out in the market trends we're seeing?
Okay, so we've got this huge pressure from supply and demand. But what does that actually look like when you're on the ground trying to buy or sell? Let's get into the key trends that are really shaping the 2026 market.
Now, if you just glance at the national numbers, things look pretty healthy. The 6.1% rise in home values shows a steady recovery. But, and this is a big but, that national average hides a much more complex reality on the ground. You could have one suburb booming while the one right next door is completely flat. And this just proves more than ever that you absolutely have to understand your specific local market.
And looking ahead, what do the experts think? Well, the forecasts predict this steady growth is going to continue. We're looking at about 4.5% for houses and, interestingly, a slightly stronger 5.1% for apartments. Probably because, they offer a more affordable way to get into those really expensive city markets. Of course, anytime we talk numbers like this, there's always some fine print we need to cover. Comparison rate calculated on a loan amount of $150,000 over a term of 25 years. Warning: this comparison rate is true only for the example given and may not include all fees and charges. And this housing shortage, it isn't just hitting buyers, it's creating a massive squeeze in the rental market too. Vacancy rates are near historic lows, which basically means there just aren't enough places to rent. For both renters and potential investors, this is a huge factor to watch because it means rents are very likely to keep climbing. Okay, so that's the big picture. We've talked about supply, demand, and the trends. But let's make this personal. What does all of this actually mean for you, depending on what your goals are?
Okay, so depending on where you're at in your property journey, these trends are going to hit you differently. If you're a first-time buyer, the challenge is definitely affordability, but the opportunity is to lock in that long-term value. Your focus has to be getting your finances sorted first. For you investors out there, yeah, the competition is fierce, but the potential for strong rental returns is undeniable. Deep research is your best friend. And for renters, while rising costs are the main headache, the opportunity lies in smart, strategic planning, balancing your budget now while saving for the future.
All right, so you're armed with all this knowledge. Now what? What do you actually do? Let's turn all this info into a concrete step-by-step action plan. Here's a simple 5-step strategy to put you back in the driver's seat. 1. Set a realistic budget. Know exactly what you can afford. 2. Clarify your strategy. Are you chasing capital growth, where the property's value goes up over time, or are you after that steady rental income? 3. Do that deep dive local research to find those hidden gems. 4. Get pre-approved for your loan. This makes you look like a serious, ready-to-go buyer. And 5. Set a timeline. In a market moving this fast, being ready to act within 60 to 90 days is a massive advantage. Okay, now it's always smart to go into this with your eyes wide open, so let's quickly talk about the risks. Affordability is definitely stretched thin, so even small changes in interest rates can really impact your budget. More construction delays could tighten supply even more. And please remember this, at the end of the day, what's happening in your local neighborhood will always outweigh the national trends.
So, what's the big takeaway here? The bottom line is this. While 2026 has its challenges, for sure, it also presents some really significant opportunities, but only for those who are prepared. Success isn't going to come from luck. It's going to come from having a clear strategy and doing your homework.
And that really leads us to the final, most important question. After hearing all this, what's your first step going to be? Is it sitting down and actually calculating your budget? Is it starting to research a new suburb you've been curious about? Whatever it is, now is the time to start thinking about it.
Hey, thanks so much for joining us for this explainer. If you've got questions or you just want to talk through your own situation and get some personalized help, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're here to help you understand your choices and navigate your path forward.